Giants manager Gabe Kapler said he won't come out for the anthem due to the U.S. gun violence. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I obviously respect and support Gabe Kapler's protest here. We spent a lot of time on the show last week talking about my thoughts on, guns in this country and what the unspeakable tragedy that happened in Uvalde after the unspeakable tragedy that happened in Buffalo. So I don't want to actually discuss that part of it. If you want to see or hear what I said about that, go to Thursday's episode from last week, episode 22. What I do want to talk about is how unbelievable it is to me at how just fine so much of the media, sports and otherwise, how fine they are with being total, abject hypocrites in how they're reacting to this versus how they reacted to a different prominent San Francisco sports figure that took a stand during the national anthem because of an issue with the United States. You could not have scripted a more one-to-one example. So you have Colin Kaepernick 6 years ago saying, because of police violence in this country, I am going to kneel during the anthem. And the entire sports world and news world and political world lost its shit. And for years, it was a topic. You had presidential candidates mentioning it. It was on, it crossed over from sports to news. It was legitimately a lead story for months and months and months. Multiple years, it was a discussion. Okay? In the 2020 election, it got brought up by politicians and on political news. Gabe Kapler does an almost identical thing. Instead of taking a knee, he's simply saying he's not even going to come out of the clubhouse. His reasoning is not because of police violence, but because of general gun violence. And in his statement, by the way, he took some, I think fair, but some shots at the police. And it's met with oh, that's interesting. Maybe it'll fit into the end of some of these shows. Maybe we'll squeeze in 90 seconds for it at the end of it, or 30 seconds for it at the end of a newscast. If you ever needed more evidence that the reaction to Colin Kaepernick was not about respecting the flag, not about respecting the troops, not about patriotism, it was purely and always only about America's allergy to black folks protesting in any way, shape, or form, then I don't know what more evidence you could need. This is a perfect example. It's the same city. It's the same exact method of protest. I'm going to use the national anthem to show my disgust for a certain element of what's happening in this country. Are folks telling Gabe Kapler to move? Is this the lead story on all the shows? Is this going to be, are we going to discuss whether or not Kapler is going to be able to stay as a manager in baseball, maybe lose his job? Tony La Russa said a few things. It was mentioned a few times on the shows and people moved on. Because it was never about the troops. It was never about the anthem. It was never about the military or patriotism or any of it. It was always about telling a rich black guy, shut up, you have it good enough. And the fact that Gabe Kapler is going to get to mostly skate on this, and by the way, I'm glad he does. There's nothing more American than nonviolent protest. And I totally just like I understood why Cap was using the anthem, because the anthem has been politicized and that whole pregame ritual's been politicized, to use it to make a statement. I get why Kapler's doing it. But the way Kapler and Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich and all these guys can say and do almost whatever they want with whatever criticism there is, it is brief and it is cursory. And Cap was the reason NFL ratings were in the tank, allegedly. All of it. It was always a sham. It was always outrageous. And I'm glad that Gabe Kapler, A, has the courage to do what he's doing, but B, that it's being revealed as the sham that it was. Okay. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.